Welcome back, COSA 50 and 650 folks. Professor Almeida here. Happy Wednesday afternoon, everyone. I wanted to get this video out because once we are done with our 2 weeks of access, only 4 assignments remain. You have capstone projects for both Excel and Access, and you're also going to be getting ready for the Microsoft Office Specialist or MOS certification exams using Gmetrics practice software. Now, the bulk of this video is going to be on using Gmetrics and what the game plan is going to be for weeks 13 and 14 starting on Monday, November 17th. Now, if you're already done with Access and you want to get a head start on Gmetrics, watch the rest of this video. I'll show you how it all works. Anyway, let's get to it. So again, you know what you have to do as far as Access is concerned, and we're going to jump ahead to weeks 13 and 14. These 2 modules will open on Monday, November 17th. Now for my Monday, Wednesday folks, we're going to follow the schedule as usual, but for my Tuesday, Thursday folks, we're going to flip the schedule so that you are practicing for the MOS in week 13 and you'll be working on your Excel capstone in week 14 asynchronously. So again, Monday, Wednesday, folks, we follow the schedule as usual. Tuesday, Thursday, we flip weeks 13 and 14. Let's take a look at the Excel capstone overview page real quick here. So the Excel capstone is just like what we've been doing in class. It covers all 3 chapters of Excel. There's no walkthrough video because this is essentially part of your finals in the course. You have to show me what you know. So pause the video as needed to read this, or you could just wait until Monday, November 17th. I also want to share with you the instructions for the Gmetrics assignment for Excel. Again, you can pause the video. And if you're already done with Access and you don't feel like waiting until Monday, November 17th, you can go ahead and create a free account by going to gmetrics.net. Once you are in Gmetrics, and this is the dashboard, click on redeem code, and you can copy and paste the access code from our Canvas homepage. So when you go to the COSA 50 page, scroll on down, you'll see the code. You can just copy and paste it into this box. You will also need to download Gmetrics SMS. You need this software in order to work with the MOS practice exams. So if you're working at home, make sure it's a Windows PC, you have Microsoft 365 installed, and you are able to install Gmetrics SMS. The COS Computer Labs also have Gmetrics SMS installed, and if the Citrix Student Labs in your Viking portal works, you should be able to use that too, but I cannot guarantee availability. All right, let me switch on over to my VM here so you can see I have Gmetrics SMS installed. Let me take you through the Excel practice exams so that you can see what you'll be doing for weeks 13 and 14. Scroll on down to Excel 365 MO-210, and you'll see that you have 3 practice exams to choose from. You can choose any one of these exams, and I would start in training mode. As a matter of fact, I'll click on new test here. You want to start in training mode so that you get a feel for what the exam is going to be like. Now, with the real MOS, you'll have 50 minutes to complete a number of projects, and when you launch your Gmetrics exam, you'll see that you have 7 projects. Again, it's just like what we've been doing in class. So typically you'll have 50 minutes to get through the projects, and passing is 700 or better. Now, when you're in training mode, there is no time limit, and if you get stuck on a particular task, you can get step-by-step help on how to complete the task. Now, just as a disclaimer, we've only covered 3 chapters of Excel, and same thing with Access, by the way. We've only done 3 chapters. Obviously, there is more to Excel, and this is where we fill in the gaps. So don't be afraid if you haven't seen some kind of topic or concept before, again, you can click on help to reveal step-by-step instructions. So let me show you how this works. I'll go ahead and start the test in training mode. And if you get a dialog box from your browser, you could check the box and open it. It's going to launch Gmetrix SMS. If you get a prompt to download the test resources like this, you can go ahead and click start, and it's going to download the resources. Give it a few moments for the exam to launch. And with that, we'll be right back. All right, now that the exam is up and running, let me show you how this all works. So this is the practice exam environment. You'll see there are 7 projects, just like the actual MOS. And instead of a 50-minute timer, you have this stopwatch going here. You'll see that for this first project, you have 5 tasks. Now, you can jump around in the exam by clicking on Summary. If you need to restart the project for whatever reason, you could click on Restart Project. Just keep in mind that whatever tasks you worked on, they'll be reset as well. So if you've marked anything completed or for review, go back and double check. If you need to save the project or save the exam and come back to it later, or maybe there's some kind of technical issue where you just need to quit out and relaunch the exam, you'll choose Save Project. When you're ready to move on to the next project, you'll click on Grade Project. So let me quickly show you how this works. I'm going to drag this up because I don't have a whole lot of real estate here. You manage a rental shop at a popular public beach. It is your responsibility to update the list of rental rates. So we'll go to task 1, and you're being asked to import the data from the source file morerentals.xml located in the Gmetrix templates folder. Load the diving rentals data to a new worksheet, accept all other defaults. Now, obviously, we haven't covered this in COSA 50, but again, if you don't know how to complete a certain task, or maybe you don't remember, you can get step-by-step help, and let me show you how that works. So if I click on the help button, it reveals step-by-step instructions here. So I'll go ahead and complete the steps. We'll go to the Data tab in the Get and Transform Data group, click Get Data from File, from XML, and then they're going to ask us to browse to the Gmetrix Templates folder. Now, I'm going to pause this video for a second because for some reason my VM is running a little bit slow, and I also want to show you what if you can't get to the Gmetrix Templates folder, because it is an issue with Windows 11. So we'll pause here and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So let's say this happens. Where is Gmetrix Templates? Let me show you the workaround here. So I'll go down to this PC and then C drive here. We'll go to Users, find your student ID number if it's a computer in the lab on campus or in a classroom. Otherwise, you want to click on your username, and then from there, Documents. Here's Gmetrix Templates. What I would do is right-click and pin this to Quick Access so that you'll always have access to Gmetrix Templates. But from here, I'll go ahead and choose More Rentals. Let me resize this real quick. And I'll choose, More Rentals, and then I'll choose Import. Okay, so while that's happening, let's look at the next step here. In the Navigator pop-up window, select Diving Rentals. So we'll give it a second for the Navigator pop-up window to show up. Now, because I'm trying to do this in a virtual machine, obviously I don't have the real estate, and, it's kind of hard to get around. Let's say we can't do this next step where it tells you to click the drop down next to load and click load to, because it's at the bottom here, and if I move this, I can't get to the load to button. And even if I try to move this around, it's kind of hard to do that. Fortunately, I can still right click on Diving Rentals. I can still right click and choose load to, and then from there I can complete the task. Okay, where do you want to put the data? New worksheet, click OK. and then I'll go ahead and mark this as completed. So I hope this makes sense on how all of this works. Let's say I'm ready to move on to the next project. Now, obviously I haven't done tasks 2, 3, 4, 5, so they're going to be marked wrong, but let me show you how to grade it here. And, obviously tasks 2 through 5 are wrong, as you can see here. Did task 1 correct. Now I can go back and retry this project, or I can move on. Don't spend so much time if you are not getting a certain task or two correct. Remember, your goal here is to just pass the exam with a 700 or better. Doesn't matter if it's 700, 850, or 1,000. You just need to pass it. So don't spend so much time on a task. And this is especially true if you go for the MOS, right? You're only going to get 50 minutes. So do what you can. Mark certain tasks for review as needed. And then if you have time, come back and finish. But again, your goal for this assignment in week 14, and again, my Tuesday, Thursday, folks, you're going to be doing this starting on Tuesday the 18th. Just mark it for review, and then come back to it if you have time. Now, let me show you what to do once you're done. Okay, so let me get out of this real quick. So I'll just click continue, and I'll exit this exam. And it doesn't really matter if it's local or cloud. If you are resuming your exam, go back, double check your tasks anyway, just to be sure if they were done correctly. So when you go back to resume, just go back and look at the ones that you've marked completed or for review. Now, let's say you're ready to turn in your score report. So here's what you do. Go back to the exam, okay, Excel 365, MO-210. And by the way, this is going to be the same for Access too. Let's say it's practice exam 1. You'll click on this 3-dot drop down, choose score report. Whatever you do, please do not take a screenshot, because I need to see your name, your score, and the date you completed the exam. So you can see here, not to brag, but I scored 1,000 on this. But what you're going to do is click on this print button right here to the right of your score. Click on this print button, and you'll get this preview, so you can see your name, the exam you took, your score, and then the date you finished it. Now, if you're using Edge or Chrome, you should have this save as PDF option in your list of printers. If you're using some other browser, perhaps you have Microsoft Print to PDF or some other kind of PDF option. What you want to do is set your printer to save as PDF. You'll click save, and then just choose a spot where you're going to find your score reports. I'll just pick my downloads folder. Now, when it's time to turn in the score reports in Canvas, you'll see that there's this big red Start Assignment button here. You'll click on Start Assignment, and then you'll scroll on down, and you'll see there's a place to drag and drop your score report. So real quick, this is the rubric. As long as you earn a 700 or better, you'll get full credit. Now, let's say you don't pass the exam. You can keep retaking these exams right up until the due date. And if you pass it, you're pretty much done. But what I would do if you don't pass, turn in your score report anyway, and you could just keep retaking the exams until you pass, again, by the due date. Again, we just need a 700 or better. Now, if you don't get a 700, it's basically your score divided by 700. So, for example, if you get a 644, it's going to be 644 divided by 700, or 92 out of 100 points for the assignment. Now, if you want to go for the MOS, okay, Tuesday, Thursday, folks, that's already baked in. But for my Monday, Wednesday, folks, I'm going to give you additional information in class on where and how and when to take the MOS. The instructional assistants are going to expect that you've been practicing in Gmetrics, and what I would do is try out testing mode in Gmetrics. So go through training mode so that you get a feel for it. Try the exam again in testing mode. It's the same exam, except there's a 50-minute timer. See how you do, and try the other 2 practice exams just to see where you're at. If you can consistently score 800 or better, then in my opinion, and in the opinion of the instructional assistants, you're ready for the MOS. Now, you'll see there's an added bonus in the assignment that requires 850 or better in testing mode. So do check out the assignment for details. I also have a special deal. If you pass the MOS, check that out in the syllabus. So I hope that this information has helped you out. Good luck with your capstone projects. Good luck on your MOS prep, and especially the MOS. Take care of yourselves out there, and I'll see you in class. Thanks for watching.